Hey everyone, I wanted to give you some feedback on the Module 2 assignment, primarily because it was a group assignment and we have one last group assignment coming up. I think this could be useful. So the first thing I want to say is with these group assignments, I am interested as much as anything else in your ability to sit down as a group and talk through the parameters of the assignment and work together to come up with a solution, because essentially that is how you manage clinical trials when you are out in the industry. It's a cross-functional endeavor where you sit down, you look at your contract, you look at your protocol, and you really draw on the experience and perspective of your group or team members in order to come up with a solution. So I try not to make these assignments very complex, and some of you, I can tell, have kind of overthought that and think that I'm looking for a much more complex solution than I am. And it's great. I love to read what you submit, but I also want you to know that if I say you just need to provide the name of an item or a one-sentence description, I really do mean that. That's all I need for you to do. I'm more interested in seeing, as a group, were you able to process the material? So I wanted to go back and look at Module 2 and first remind you that when you want to do an assignment, go into the module and look at the overview, and then also go into the assignment link itself. And I try to always post a rubric. And if you look at the rubric, and I'm not going to move this around too much, I think you can see it. If you look at the rubric, it should explain to you what you need to do and also let you know how I am weighting the grade on this. So what I really wanted to see for this assignment is that you were able to use the template. So you can see that I wanted to see if you could use it correctly, and you got a much lower grade if you didn't use it or if you just used some portions of it, because you need to know how to follow templates when you are working with essential documentation. And the other thing is, I really wanted to see if you were able to identify forms and at what visits they occurred. So again, you can check the grading. You know, if you couldn't place most of them, that was a problem. If you were able to identify most of them and put them at the correct visit, then you were doing well. And if you were able to identify all the necessary observations and put them at the correct visits, then you got a perfect score. So the next thing that I wanted to remind you of is you can always go into our data management study file, and I'm going to try to pull this over a little bit. Okay, so this is our mock study file, and when you drop into it, you will see all of the documents that I've put in here. And at the time that I posted your assignment, I did not allow you to view my protocol synopsis or my visit matrix, but I did come back later and put that up, and if you want to take a look at it on your own, it's down here. So in fact, we're going to go to that right now. Let's see if I can find mine. And you can see my visit matrix was really pretty simple. I made sure that I knew what visits occurred and what the time frame was for those visits. I defined the assessments by looking at the synopsis and then placed them in the right visit. Very, very simple and very straightforward. So I wanted to tell you that to do the assignment, you really had to go into the protocol synopsis itself and really look through it and compare it to your matrix. So, for example, to know when things would occur, how many visits and how many months you needed, you could look at the study period. You could also look into the different sections of the safety to see what types of assessments needed to be done. For example, the urine pregnancy test. Also looking at study drug dispensing and the vaginal bleeding. So you really had all the things that you needed to come up with your solution. You just needed to look through the protocol or protocol synopsis. And again, that's what you do in actuality when you are building a visit matrix or trying to define the visit matrix for a database structure. So let's take a look at some examples of what you guys turned in, because I saw some really nice stuff. And again, forgive my moving around here. So one group turned in this matrix, and I thought this was very nice. They used visit 7 as the termination visit, and that's fine. They counted the baseline over here as 0, and they added a little follow-up column, which I thought was very nice. You can see that they went through and came up with all of the assessments, and then also, I thought this was neat, they did a lot of footnotes in here, which was very nice. Good solution. And this is another group's approach. I'll see if I can get it all on the screen. So again, they were able to get all of the visits in place. They had the plus and minuses, which I really liked. They have all the tests that need to be done. They placed them correctly in the visit. And then this group also went in and just did some really great stuff. Essentially, they outlined all of the fields that were going to be collected at each of these visits, and I thought that was really fun and fantastic, and I enjoyed looking at that. Another group went very lean, but again, look, they have everything in here that they need to have in here. They've identified the visits. In this case, where some assessments were the same, for example, between visits 1, 2, and 3, and 4 and 6, they put those in one column, and that's absolutely fine because they got all of the assessments that they need to get in here, and they place them at the right visits. They have one footnote here, and essentially they've totally completed the assignment, and I think it looks great as well. So there are a lot of good approaches to the assignments. I am not going to stick to a very narrow definition of what is the appropriate response. I'm going to look at the really key parameters of the rubric. Did you identify, in this case, the assessments and the visits needed, and did you work together as a team? So when you're moving forward into your next group assignment, which is going to be in Module 9, I believe, we're going to be working with SOPs. Don't worry too much about giving me very complex solutions. If you want to, like this group, fantastic. It's great, it's fun to read, and it's impressive. But also, as long as you are hitting on the key points like these groups did, and doing some fantastic work, you have absolutely solved the assignment solution, and it looks great. I can tell that you have understood what I'm asking you to do. And always, if your group has questions, send me an email. I'm happy to look at your rough draft and provide feedback. I won't tell you how to do the assignment, but I'll tell you if you're on target, and if you're not on target, I will give you some advice as to how to reinterpret the assignment. So great job. I'm enjoying everything that you turn in, and please, again, feel free to reach out with questions.